Good morning. Welcome back. How are those sourdough starters looking? Are they bubbly? Are they beautiful? Are they smelly? So mine is still looking nice and shiny and drippy, but it's got a beautiful sourdough smell to it, not too strong. It had some little air bubbles in it this morning when I started to stir it, and I think it's ready to go. So I tested it out by making some pancake batter last night, and I'm going to see if you can see on camera those, let's see, a little hard to see, but it's full of air bubbles. So this is a buckwheat pancake batter, so that's why it's so dark in color. And it's making these gorgeous little pancakes that are really yummy. I haven't made pancakes in years, so this is a super treat, and I've never actually made sourdough pancakes before, even though I talk about making it all the time. So this is really a treat for me. So the point is, those sourdough starters are ready to bake with, which is so exciting. So it was a week, 9 days of feeding those beautiful starters. Good job. I hope you feel really good about yourself. If you haven't started yet, I hope you feel encouraged at how fast the process is. And by next week, I'd love to see you with the sourdough starter as well. So baking with the sourdough starter. The fastest way to go here is going to be to find a recipe that you already like for bread, for pizza dough, for pancakes, and add some sourdough starter to it. Take out the baker's yeast, add the sourdough starter, and you should see the same, if not better, results than with the yeast. You'll get more depth of flavor. You'll have a longer fermentation, which breaks down those proteins and sugars, making your recipe more easy to digest. And otherwise, texture and flavor should be great and identical. So I'm trying my hardest to get you a recipe put together, but I haven't had time to dedicate to recipe development since I'm sort of stuck in business finance land, which is way less fun. But until then, find a cookbook author that you love, find their gluten-free bread recipe, sub in your sourdough starter, and you're good to go. I'll also be sharing this pancake batter recipe once I translate my chicken scratch into type for you. This is sort of my preferred format for recipes. I'm always crossing things out, doing things by feel, adding a little bit more water, and I definitely encourage you to do the same, especially if you're adapting a recipe, swapping out a flour, swapping out the yeast for sourdough, anything like that. Be able to play with the feel of it. Don't be afraid to add more water. Don't be afraid to taste it and add more sugar, add more salt, whatever you're feeling. Experiment away. That is the best way to get an intuitive feel for those ingredients. So that's it. If you're not ready to bake, go ahead and put your starter into maintenance mode. There's no need to feed it daily now that you've got a strong culture going. So feed your starter for the last time, let it ferment for 8 hours, transfer it to a closed container, so a plastic container with a tight-fitting lid or a jar, put it in the fridge, and take it out a week later to feed it again. And that's it. That's maintenance mode. So maintenance mode is the same as this activation mode, but you have to feed it way less often. So when you take it out of the fridge, let it warm up a little bit to sort of wake those yeasts back up. Feed it, ferment it, put it back in the fridge. And with the stuff that you're discarding each time, that's where I've been making pizza dough every week. So pizza dough, pancake batter, bread dough, that is the perfect use of that discard now that it's fully active, now that it's not just buckwheat flour and water. It's buckwheat flour, water, and zillions of microbes. So you definitely want to put those microbes to good use. So drop your questions in the comments. We'll be answering as fast as we can. Stay tuned for this pancake batter recipe. Stay tuned for our pizza dough recipe. Have a great time with your sourdough. And congratulations on your new pet. Okay, stay safe, be kind, and enjoy your sourdough.